right, so to speak, so that, it actually sells. A lot of times they can be very useful, by the way, if you are going to do an auction. They're very experienced with that type of process, and they're very good about, bringing in the right players and what needs to be shown to the players during those, basically those corporate presentations that you would put together with them in terms of trying to put your asset in the best possible light. So that they can add a lot of value to that type of an approach. But that's how I think most of the companies that I've dealt with use the banks. And by the way, the acquirer will also use banks as well. Obviously, a different one than what you're using.
Of course, and so you're saying that a consensus view is likely to be what an asset would be transacted at, or the terms of a license. I guess come to fruition. It would be a consensus view.
Yeah.
So somewhere,
well,
somewhere in the,
to be honest,
two parties. But, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a consensus view. To be honest, I would look at it as they're an advisor to you in terms of coming up with a value. It really only matters what you think it's worth. I mean, the bank is there to advise, and they may have some more experience in the area than perhaps that your folks have. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. And I would say the same thing for those three components that we've been talking about, upfront royalties and milestones and so forth. Those, it really is up to the seller to say, hey, this is what I want. I mean, you may get pushed back one way or another, as I said, upfront payments being, more at risk for the acquirer. But, it's a negotiation, and it's really, I think that's the way to look at it, that it's all negotiable. It's just a matter of how strong your position is and how badly they want your asset. And sometimes, and I would say, by the way, in the environment that we are in today, there aren't a lot of good assets out there, especially if you have something in phase 3. Companies, it's one thing to say I'm trying to enhance my phase 2 or my early stage pipeline. I know I'm going to get a lot of failure there, but a phase 3 compound is probably going to start generating revenue for you in probably 2 to 3 years, and pretty significant revenue. The uptake curves in most products these days are quite accelerated from what they'd been 10 years ago. So they may start hitting peak sales, depending on the therapeutic class that you're in 3 to 5 years. So it's much shorter term revenue for a product. The one that you've been using as an example here in phase 3, there are not a lot of good assets out there, and believe me, people continue to look. So you may be in a much stronger negotiation position to kind of get what you want. And I do think it's important to understand, as you're kind of thinking about that, what do you want? I want a big upfront payment, or no, I'm willing to take more risk on the back end because I know it's going to be a great product, and therefore I'm going to take a higher royalty and I'll take less upfront. So to a certain extent, you have to have a strategy that says this is what I want from a selling standpoint, and then try to work through that negotiation.
Thanks for that, James. Thanks very much for your time today. I think we'll wrap it up there. It's been really insightful. I guess, just to flag moving forward, we may decide to come back to you, for example, for a further consultation. Would that be something that you're interested in and open to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. As I said, it's a lot of the things I'm giving you. I'm kind of giving you a 30,000-foot view of some of the key components. What would be, as you start working with, whether it's me or anyone else for that matter, understanding that differentiation of that product is probably the biggest component of everything we've talked about here. Unique products or differentiated products in the market, as I said, especially because the inventory of products that are out there today is pretty, it's pretty scarce. So that would be really helpful in terms of having a little bit more of a concrete discussion about what you think, those variables are and how much leverage you actually might have to do that. So a little bit more information about the product would probably, help inform the discussion a little bit more.
Okay, great. We'll note that. Well, thank you on behalf of everyone here for your time. We may see you in the future.
No problem. All right. I'm assuming you guys are from Australia, and the time difference is why it's this late.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that. I'm sorry.
Cheers.
All right. Well, yeah, it was pleasant talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye.